to formally open up this great facility and to make a dedication to a great guy, Chris Ghiloni. Most of us in the old days, we called him Chippy, still remember his warm manner, his friendliness, and his character. If he had anything, he had character. And he always was willing to help you, do something for you. And the people that he was always helping someone who needed it. He's that kind of guy. He was a veteran, worked for the federal government as a marshal, and he did an awful lot locally. He was involved with the Legion, and I can remember him and Joe Collins back in the old days at the Legion Hall, kidding back and forth, picking on each other. But whenever he had to get some help, to help him do something for somebody, the first guy he got was Joe, and off they go. And he really made a dent in our community. And I want to introduce right now his daughter Ann, and his daughter Ellen is sitting here in the first row. Margie passed away, and only wish she could be here with us today. But her husband Dick is here, and I know this is great for the whole family. Right now, I'd just like to let you know what cooperation is, what put this thing together. It took, starting back with Joe Ferrecchia, who couldn't be with us today. He says his regards. But he handled the taking of the land here to put it together. And then Chet Connery got involved with it. Kay had it. And right down to Mike when we finally opened it up. I'm sure it's a credit to the place, to Marlboro. And while we got all of you here, don't leave, because Paul Sharon has a lot of rakes. He wants to give everybody a rake, so be ready to go to work. Now I'd like to introduce Arthur Lambert, representing Bob Durant.
I was asked to keep my remarks brief, and I have no problem doing that. I'm here on behalf of Bob, who's in Boston right now working on the budget, but on his behalf, he'd like to offer his congratulations to the city and to the man under whose leadership you have this beautiful facility behind you, which is just a testimony to one of the positive things that the state can do as part of the Urban Self-Help Fund that was administrated through the Executive Office of Environmental Affairs. You have a beautiful facility that many people enjoy for many years to come. It is my greatest hope that, as also my side job as director of the Marlboro Men's Basketball League, they'll be able to occupy those 2 basketball courts over there. So once again, congratulations to the city, to the mayor, and all the work on putting the field together. It's a beautiful gym for the rest of the city to enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like at this time to recognize the members of the Recreation Commission who participated. We have with us Joe Lariotti and Joe D'Antonio, Dennis Alambo, and who else have we got here? Joe DeRico, we can't forget Joe. He's been around for a long, long time. And Emilio Desimone and Carolyn Ludwig could be with us today, so we thank her too for the work that they did in helping with this thing. Now I'd like to introduce the young representative who has been involved in the later stages with this program, Dan Valiant.
As one who picked up a few of those rakes, working with Frank Denzel, who's out here, back in the late 70s, early 80s, I can tell you that this project at that point, I think, was only a dream. And if you could have seen, those of you who did not see it, if you could have seen the place before now, what it looked like, and to have thought that it might look like this at one point, was definitely a dream, and one that we were not sure could be achieved. So I think that I want to thank this present administration for its diligence. As the mayor would attest, I've been a bit of a thorn in the side on some issues. Oftentimes I get together with some friends down at the Ward Park basketball courts, and the mayor and I have had a nice standing thing where I said, let's get the basketball court fixed up, and he said, let's get some more state money in here. So I guess my commitment to you is that I will work as hard as I can to make sure that happens. But again, I just am honored to be here today, and I too would like to echo the sentiments that Mr. Lambert said, and I look forward to using this facility in the future. Thanks.
Thanks, Dan. Back to the old word cooperation. It was easy with my father. My father was, he thought cooperation was, he told you what to do and you better do it. But between the state and the mayors and the city councils and the Recreation Commission, we put together a great facility. And we have with us today a director of the Division of Conservation Services of the Executive Office of Environmental Affairs. And he likes to come here, make sure the work's done, and then if you notice, Chet Connery got those golf clothes on. Well, I think he was probably trying to entice Joel to go across the street with him. So we have with us Joel Lerner.
Thank you, Bill. Not really, though. I love to play golf, but today is not one of them. But I would really, truly congratulate the citizens of this fine city for completing this magnificent park. It's perhaps once in a lifetime that an opportunity to create such a marvelous recreation facility such as this comes about. And my involvement with this park goes back to when Joe Ferrecchia was the mayor and came to our office and said, gee, I want to buy a trotting park. And I want to buy a trotting park. We came out here, we looked at the horses and the stables and the track. This wasn't the first place, but this was the substitute for the one that the city couldn't acquire. And in the long run, it's turned out to be better. But nevertheless, I said, well, okay, the city is going to use this for not only keeping the agricultural heritage of the city intact, but at the same time they were going to use this as the fairgrounds for the Labor Day celebrations. So we gave the city some money to buy it. A few years later, we gave the city some money to buy a soccer field, and it just quite didn't make it. And at that point in time, the Parks Department was thinking about moving their office from downtown over to here. I kept pushing that because I thought, gee, if you put the Parks Department down here, it would make this facility really go and give it a greater visibility and a greater ability to maintain it. And as things have turned out, with our ability to come through with a grant from the Urban Self-Help Program, as the representative said, we were able to put $1 million into this, I think it's $1.5 million total project cost, and it's really made this park turn around. While the trotting park is gone, I think the designer John Kista has done a marvelous job of blending the agricultural past with a magnificent and functional recreation facility. The fencing lends itself to the fact that this was an agricultural area at one time. Keeping the grass up on the hill behind the field behind us also tends to do that. And it's just a marvelous recreation facility. So these are, I would say, our tax dollars used at their best. And I would congratulate you on behalf of the governor who could be here today, and my boss, Susan Tierney, Environmental Affairs Secretary. We congratulate you and thank you for the invite.
Thank you, Joel. Joel was also very helpful in acquiring Jericho Hill, parking in Keller Field, and other projects that we had throughout the years. Always been very cooperative. cooperative with the city of Marlboro. This time, I'd like to call on a guy named Billy Morrow. Billy knows that probably as a counselor about what free advice is. He works at the barber shop, and everybody and his brother gives him free advice. I think he's done very well himself. He's a very popular guy in Marlboro, and he certainly is helpful in doing all these projects. And now I'd like to give it to Billy.
It's a pleasure to be here this morning. This is one of the projects that was first initiated when I came onto the council 7 years ago. I worked with Chet Connery, former mayor, and with Joel and John Kissida. We had a lot of meetings. We had little golf matches here and there. Did some convincing, and this is what we have today. It's a unique and it's an attractive recreation facility that all the residents, young, middle-aged, and old people, all alike use. And I can relate because when I'm on the golf course, I look over here anytime during the week, if it's morning, afternoon, or evenings, weekends, you see a lot of people using this facility. They're walking, they're running, they're playing in the playgrounds. They're not using the fields yet, but that'll be coming next spring. And with all of that, we do have a facility that we're very proud of. I'm proud of being part of, being involved into it. And we'd be remiss not to make a few comments on naming this after Chris Ghiloni. And the Ghiloni family should be very proud that their name is on the plaque and is part of the heritage that Lou Ghiloni, as being the first Recreation Commissioner, deserves to have his name on the plaque to represent all the work he's done to the city. Thank you.
I'd like at this time to recognize the members of the City Council who are very helpful in this program. Councilor Hudson, Councilor Spratt, Councilor Ledoux, Councilor Agaritzis. Is there anybody I missed? I know some of them couldn't make it today. I'd like to thank them all publicly for all the work they've done in this matter. The guy in the golf clothes, he figured this is a facility to practice in and get things ready. He did a heck of a lot in getting involved in here, because I can remember the day that he was playing golf with Joel Lerner and he missed that 3-foot putt and gave Joel a 6-footer. After that, all the papers were signed and we were on our way. Chet Connery.
Well, I came dressed to enjoy the facility this morning. It's too bad it's raining so hard out there. I was planning to take a tour. In fact, I've been reading in the paper recently about the facility. I understand Ed Bridges has recently walked the track, and I was hoping to do that myself this morning, but the weather is not going to cooperate. I came onto the scene after the land had already been purchased. This would have been 1985 or so. So the 300 acres plus the state forest and the city forest were combined. All of that had already been purchased. The problem then was to decide what to do with the site. The trotting park had been discussed and talked about, and so we started going over the various options. And fortunately, we had a lot of people, Lou Ghiloni in particular, members of the Recreation Commission were very supportive of trying to do something with this site. The City Council at that time, Billy Morrow being part of that group, Mayor Hogan being part of that group, were extremely supportive. So we basically got to the point where we were able to get a $1 million grant if the city came up with $400,000, and maybe the numbers have changed a little bit now, but that's approximately what this facility represents. I was extremely pleased to be a part of that process, working with the City Council and with the state. Now, as my children grow up and they have kids and start to use this facility, it's going to make me very, very proud to be a part of that. And I hope that everyone here feels the kind of joy that I feel in being a part of this. And I share that with you today. And thank you very much for letting me be a part of the program.
Thank you, Chet. I'd like at this time to introduce Louis Ghiloni's wife, Barbara, and the family, Gary and all over here and everybody else. Getting that husband of yours here is something that worried us all. There was a guy who did so much and won't take any pats on the back, just continues to do more. 40 years, he's entertained the city of Marlborough with his holiday special and taking care of half the kids in town to make sure they got a job or they get help going to school. And he kept them off the streets and out of trouble, and would go out of the way to help some kid who got in trouble. He's really been one of the most prominent employees of the city of Marlborough, an old tough ex-Marine, and worthy of all the tribute that goes with it. You can tell a man by his descendants, and Chippy Ghiloni can be very proud, because if ever there's proof of it, his success is Louis Ghiloni. Louis, please.
Everyone stole my speech. One of the most important men and greatest workers I've ever seen in the state of Massachusetts is a gentleman who preceded me, Joel Lerner. I never met him, but I know the type of individual he is, and if it weren't to him, this project wouldn't be there. I'm happy that the horses are gone, because if you can picture me chasing a 2,000-pound horse up and down Concord Road at 4 o'clock in the morning, you'll realize why I'm happy. I think my father would be happy, not because it's being in his name, but the fact that so many people, thousands of people in the years to come, will be able to enjoy this. On behalf of my family, I thank the Mayor and City Council for this honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lou. The first time I got to talk with him, he didn't holler at me. He's telling me what to do for a lot of years. I've enjoyed every bit of it. I'd like to call on Mayor Chester Connery to make the... Pardon me, I got the wrong one. Oh, wow! What's my appointment coming up? I just happened to look at those golf balls and wow. I should have looked at the list. Mike Hogan.
I'd just like to start by letting Billy know that he's a holdover. Not that that matters. It's a special honor for me to be here today as mayor to dedicate this facility for the use of the people of the city of Marlborough. As a city councilor, I had the pleasure to work with Chet Connery to see this project steered through the design phases and to see it become a reality in many people's minds. As a new mayor, one of the first tasks that I faced was going to a new city council and say, trust me, it really is a good investment
to come up with $400,000 of city money. Believe me, the state will come across with its share, and it's a worthwhile thing to do. The same meeting that I went to the city council to ask them to trust me on this one was the same meeting that we had an opportunity to deliver the fact that the cherry sheet aid, the local aid, was being reduced for the third year in a row. And so it was a tremendous act of courage on the part of the city council to go along with this project and to recognize that there were risks involved, but it was a worthwhile risk, one worth taking because the city needed this center. This project really is the focal point of recreation for our community for many years to come. And if it weren't for the efforts of people like Joe Ferrecchia and Chet Connery and the city council on the local level, it would not have happened. And I cannot say enough about Joel Lerner and the work that he has done on behalf of the city of Marlborough. Joel is truly the kind of person that represents what it means to work for all the taxpayers of the Commonwealth, to see that the residents of cities and towns throughout the state get the benefit of their tax dollars spent back in their community. We have so many areas in the city that we have as a result of Joel's cooperation with the city, and I'd like to personally thank you, Joel, for your efforts on our behalf. This morning also, there are many people who need to be recognized for their efforts to steer this through. Bill recognized the Recreation Commission and the many meetings that they spent working with members of the City Council and the community and the various administrations to see that this reflected the needs of the community. And there are people from our own staff who work very hard, Paul Sharon and Ron Lafreniere, Lou Ghiloni, Nanette Riddell, to see that this came to fruition. But someone who had a real vision for this facility was someone who we brought on as a consultant to help design this. And I would like to recognize John Kissiter this morning and ask John to stand and take a bow. What you see behind us and all around us is John's vision of what this should be for the community. And it's a vision that really identifies what Marlborough is and what kind of community it is. I have to say I've had an opportunity to work with many consultants and architects and engineers, and John has been one of the easiest people of all to deal with. On the same line, I'd like to recognize the people who are responsible for constructing this. Paolini Construction Corporation did a superb job for us. They came in on time, they came in under bid, they spent a lot of time on the details to make sure that this was something that our community could be proud of, but also that they could be proud of. And I have to say, they're probably the easiest contractors that we've had an opportunity to work with in my 2.5 years as mayor. And I'd like to recognize them and thank them for their efforts. There's a gentleman here this morning also from our staff who supervised this entire project. I'd like to especially thank Bob May, who served as our clerk of the works on this and did a great job in seeing that all of the punch list items and all the details were taken care of. It's obvious that you were looking as a member of the community, not just an employee, with pride at what was going on here, and it shows in what we've accomplished, and I'd like to thank you for that, Bob. And finally, it's a great pleasure for me to recognize and to thank the Ghiloni family. I think Chris Ghiloni would be very pleased with what we have here today. What I know of him, I know through his family. He brought up people who understood what it meant to give back to the community, as he did. The kind of people who do their jobs and think about other people, who present and provide opportunities, especially for young people, to keep them on the straight and narrow, to keep them off the streets and out of trouble. This is a place that many people of all ages will be able to come and enjoy for many years to come. And I think that it's only fitting that Chris Ghiloni and his family be recognized here this morning. That people, when they come through the gates of this facility, will recognize the Ghiloni name and recognize the commitment and the tremendous achievements that were provided by Chris and his family for the city of Marlborough. And so it's a real special pleasure for me to see the Ghiloni family here this morning and to thank you and your father for the efforts on behalf of the city. And it was very touching to see Lou up here and to see him. Lou has always been a man of few words, except for when he was telling you what he needed to run his programs. And I was glad to have him say a few words on behalf of the Recreation Commission and the family this morning. I would like to especially thank him for his stewardship through this project. Without your vision and your perseverance, Lou, this would not have happened. On behalf of your city, I thank you. Our intention this morning was to cut a ribbon at the gates, or throw out the first pitch, or maybe lead a short walk through the 1.5-mile trails. But since we have the weather not cooperating with us this morning, I'd invite all of you to come back many times. Take your kids down and play on the play structures. Bring a basketball and bring some of your friends and do a pickup game of basketball. Come down and watch our men's softball league participate on the new softball field. Bring your lawn chairs and your blankets. Come down and watch our kids as they play and continue to provide the feeder system for the best high school soccer program in the state on these fields right here. Take a lazy walk on a Sunday morning or a fall evening through the 1.5 miles of trails here. Take a run on the track, or come down with your skates this winter and spend some time skating on the 2 ponds out back. We really have a gem here that's meant to be enjoyed by all the people of all ages of our community. And so it's with great pleasure this morning that I officially open and dedicate the Christopher Ghiloni Recreation Center on Concord Road in the city of Marlborough.
Thank you all very much for coming here. Thank all the councilors, the mayors, Joel and the state, John Kissiter, Bob May, and everybody who made this possible. Most of all, remember, when they pile the potatoes on the wagon, they got the big ones at the top. But these guys know the little ones, like you people out there, citizens of Marlborough, who make it all go and keep them up the top. So thanks again. Thank you too. And hang around, have a little refreshment after, enjoy yourself. Besides, we got to get the rights here. Thank you.